Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And boy, we got a show here for you guys here today. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. And also, if you're not following the Dreamerspro podcast, be sure to be sure to follow the podcast. We have that pinned in the comment section. We're on Spotify and iTunes. Now, you guys know I'm not a very big football person, although I used to watch the NFL. I do watch football. I've watched it in the past, let me say, and it's enjoyable when I watch it, but predominantly I don't watch the NFL and football that much because I'm so focused on the NBA, and there's so many things happening in the NBA. That's usually why I spend all my time, plus with work, so the work that I do. So I don't spend that much time, but I do follow big stories whenever they occur. And in this case, there's a big story surrounding the NFL Hall of Famer Deion Sanders and the team he is coaching in Colorado. Now, there's been a lot of discussion around the way Deion Sanders goes about his business because, as you guys know, Primetime is very outspoken. He's going to tell you what he thinks. If he wins, he's going to let you know about it. And that's the type of person he's been. I went back to watch old tape of him, watch old highlights of him. And he was always somebody that always celebrated, had fun, but was a very, very confident person. You can tell that. And you can see then that is something that he's been successfully been able to instill in the football team and every football program he's been associated with. As you guys know, he recently signed about a 5-year, $29.5 million deal to be the head coach of Colorado. And at the time, he had some naysayers. A lot of people thought that it was all fluff. There was nothing really there. But after their huge big upset win to kick off their season, it drew a lot of attention. And some of the attention wasn't positive. Now, one of the biggest critics out there, Deion Sanders, is Jason Whitlock. If you know anything about Jason Whitlock, I've watched a lot of his shows. He's a well-prepared, analytical person, but he's going to tell you exactly what he thinks. He's not going to pull any punches, and if you're going to hurt, and if he's going to hurt somebody's feelings in the process, so be it. That's the Jason Whitlock way, and to a certain extent, I respect that, to have the courage to say exactly what you believe and not be afraid of what others think. But recently we produced a show on some of the comments that he had to make about the way Deion Sanders has been conducting himself. And I said in that show that I believe he went a little bit too far, comparing him to a woman, questioning his religious foundation. I thought a lot of that was too much. I thought we were going a little bit too far. Well, it seems like he's ready to take it a step further. He recently did a show on the Jason Whitlock, podcast or his show, where he had like a Hall of Fame panel. Brett Favre was there, Warren Sapp was there, and they were discussing football. But in this particular segment, it was about a 16-minute clip, and it's doing very well on YouTube. The last time I checked, Deion Sanders came up, and the panel basically asked him, hey, what's your issue with Deion? Because we don't really see any issues with what he's doing. And number two, he's not acting outside of character. He's acting like the same old Deion we always knew. And when it came time for Jason Whitlock to give his opinions on Deion Sanders, he did not hold back. So what we want to do is want to play a little bit of what he had to say about Deion Sanders, and then we're going to come back and continue on with the show. Take a listen to that there.
I've watched all you guys play, and I have tremendous respect. Didn't you finish runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year? And, I mean, you guys are all special-level players. I watched all of you play. You're incredibly gifted, and I think a lot of times incredibly gifted people have flaws that their gifts make up for, but they think their flaws are part of their strength. And Deion was not the greatest corner to ever play the game, in my opinion.
That's fine.
Because of his arrogance. God bless.
Just because of his arrogance.
No. I'm saying I don't think that's what made him great. God gave him some incredible gifts in the womb, and he maximized that and worked hard and did all that. But it's not the arrogance. The arrogance to me is a shield or a beard for some insecurity, and just to be quite honest, when I see people that over the top, when I see people, he's my age, we're 56, we're the same class. I see people still wearing gold chains at 56, that's some insecurity, and because I bought some gold chains. And
I never wore gold chains in the beginning, but I got me a nice Cuban now.
That ain't the level I'm talking about. He run around with Run DMC, and again, I'm not a Deion hater. I just
got a little male jealousy.
I don't. I really don't. I would love for Deion to be a success. Humility is at the foundation of all sustainable success. Sustainable success. Swagger and all this other stuff we love to talk about. We love to rap about it. We gotta have it. Put it on display. Yeah. That's all worthless.
But his patience.
Some of the things you were telling me.
No, I'm telling you.
Are humble acts.
I'm telling you.
The patience, the work ethic. You talking about when he's driving 90 minutes to go coach high school football.
Yeah.
That's humility.
Yes.
But I see too much arrogance to think that it's sustainable. But I'm open to being proven wrong.
See,
I like that. You open for it. Fly off the handle as we were.
Sometimes it's best to just pause, think about it rather than talking or yelling or screaming. I think there's a call for that if needed. But getting back to Deion, I think Deion's at a place in his life where he's ready to accept that role.
Absolutely.
He's a marketing machine. There's no question about it. You can't fault him for that. From day one, back in the day, maybe he when he was drafted and he was playing baseball and football, he was feeling it, and it was all because of him. Now he gives the glory to God
and himself.
Well, I mean, I think he deserves some.
I don't. Not as a Christian. I can.
Well, and we can argue this. At what level of Christian
I've
is.
accomplished, again, and he's not at a very high level. In the sports writing deal, I've accomplished a lot. It has nothing to do with me. Nothing. Anything you accomplish on football, you may not know it, but one day you'll find out it didn't have nothing to do with you. This is for believers, if you're a believer, and it's just factual. And so I don't think Deion doesn't realize that, and I just think at our age,
nothing to do with this. It's already written. You just got to live it.
No, it's not written. But dude, I'm so flawed and so messed up and so.
Oh no, I'm born into sin. I got that part.
I'm so unworthy.
I only need faith as big as a mustard seed. I'm fine. You talk about a belief? No, come on. I was raised in the church. You beat me to Sunday school and you meet me at church.
Here's what happens, though. Here's what happens with great athletes. It literally, though, I mean, you have so much success, you get so much adulation, you get that it clouds things, and you do start believing. You make your own self an idol. You make your own, and it's called idolatry. You make your own self an idol. I've been through it to a lesser level. To a far lesser level, but again, had a lot of success.
Y'all almost won.
So no, I'm talking about as a journalist. As a journalist,
I'm just checking.
I'm a Hall of Fame journalist.
So you heard what Jason Whitlock had to say. Now, before I even get into his comments, I want to quickly touch on the win that they just had. I'm reading from an article here from Yahoo Sports, and it says, number 22 Colorado uses big second half to knock off Nebraska in Deion Sanders' home debut. Deion Sanders' second game as Colorado head coach looked a lot different in the first, but it ended with the same result, a win. While there wasn't the offensive firework of the triumphant 45-42 season opener road win over TCU, number 22 Colorado did what it had to do to post an emphatic 36-14 win over Nebraska on Saturday in Sanders' first regular season game at Folsom Field in Boulder. The Buffs struggled on offense in the early going, but took advantage of 3 first-half Nebraska turnovers to take a 13-0 halftime lead. In the second half, however, Colorado strung a few drives together to put the hapless Huskers away. But I want to give you guys some other information here because I think that some of this information here may be playing a role in the way some people are reacting to Deion Sanders, in this case, Jason Whitlock. I first heard the news about this victory from an ESPN post. I actually couldn't believe what I saw. I was actually sitting there going through my phone, and a post pops up on my screen, and it says, Colorado, and we're going to show it to you, Colorado has already surpassed its win total from last season. It's week 2. They already have more wins in 2023 than they had in their entire 2022 season. That you can't deny. That you can't hate on. Those are the cold, hard facts. Let me get into another article here, and I'll get into my larger points. I want to read from CBS. CBS News. I want to give you guys some information here. Basically, this article says, it's a moment the Colorado quarterback thought he wanted. He even stayed on the field to enjoy, but I started getting beat up, he said with a laugh. Sanders accounted for 3 scores. The defense forced 4 turnovers, and the 22nd ranked Buffalo beat longtime rivals Nebraska 36-14 on Saturday in the home debut of Deion Sanders at a sold-out Folsom Field. The article then goes on to talk about all of the excitement and the hoorah around it. But there's something here that I think is playing in the way people are reacting. And in this case, we're talking about Jason Whitlock. Deion Sanders is moving the needle. He is absolutely moving the needle. Whether if you think he's too flamboyant, whether if you think he's too over the top, he's actually moving the needle. He's selling tickets. He's bringing a lot of interest to that football club, and dare I say, he's earning his keep. They're paying the man $29.5 million over the next 5 years, and I think Deion Sanders is earning it. For him to already have led this team to 2 victories with his son at the helm at the quarterback, and they already have more victories than the team did last year for the entire season, no matter what you say about the guy, he's delivering the results. And I think we're spending too much time on, in the case of Jason Whitlock, he's spending too much time on all the other things that don't really matter. Because it's like looking for ways to not talk about the most important thing, which is the winning. And he's showing that he can walk that walk, and he can talk that talk and walk that walk. And we cannot deny that. Now, if you listen to how Jason Whitlock spoke about Deion Sanders, he's still going on about this religious thing. I personally believe that that's inappropriate. As a Christian sitting up here talking to you guys, I know no one is perfect. No one is perfect. And to start judging people on a religious level, knowing damn well that I'm not perfect, that would make me a hypocrite, number one. Number two, knowing that I'm not in the position to give anyone salvation, I think is wrong for me to start running around calling people sinners. The most I can do is say, hey, try to be better. The last thing I'm going to do is go around and start persecuting people. Because the minute you start doing that, what ends up happening is this. People will hear that and they'll say, okay, you want to be critical of this person? Let's go back and look at your past. And that is exactly what's been happening. We produced the show yesterday, is doing pretty well. And I've been reading through the comments. And if you read through some of those comments, people are like, but Jason Whitlock did this. Jason Whitlock did that. Who is he to talk? Who is he to talk? Number one. Number two, I don't understand why Jason is so critical of this guy. I don't know. The first time I heard Jason Whitlock, and Jason Whitlock is obviously a very accomplished person in his field, so I'm not disrespecting him in any way. But the first time I heard him was when he sat on the Colin Cowherd show, if I'm not mistaken, and he was discussing Kobe Bryant. It was the first time I had ever heard a journalist, a television personality, talk that way about Kobe Bryant. I mean, it was vicious. He was a fraud and this and this. And I was like, wow, I was taken aback. I didn't get upset. I was just startled. I was like, wow, someone can have such an opinion about Kobe Bryant. But what happened? When Kobe passed, Jason Whitlock had a revelation. And he was like, I was too hard on this guy. He's a good brother. We just lost a good brother. And I hope that, I'm not comparing that scenario with Kobe Bryant, Deion Sanders. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I hope that Jason Whitlock doesn't have a eureka moment in the future where he looks back at his coverage or his commentary of Deion Sanders and says, man, I wish I wasn't so critical. I wish I wasn't so critical. Because whatever you think, Deion Sanders is leading those young men. He is. You may call it cocky. He's extremely confident. And he's showing a lot of those guys that, listen, you can go into an environment where you're the underdog, looking like the way I look, and you can achieve great things. And I'm going to show you how to do it, and we're going to do it together. That builds confidence. Not just for Deion Sanders, but for people that may potentially come after him. We're not even thinking about that. We're not thinking about all of the younger guys aspiring to be in this position in the future. Maybe they don't get those opportunities if Deion Sanders is not doing what he's doing because there's no blueprint, there's no reference point. But now they can say, but look, Deion did it. Give me a shot. I can do it too. To a certain extent, he's a trailblazer for what he's doing, and he's rewriting the whole book because he's also bringing the marketing, which is important and which is smart. You may not like the way he's marketing his program, but he needs to market it. It can't just be, oh, I'm just going to go out there. What was it? Broccoli, white rice, and chicken. It can't be that stale. Just play the game, say thank you, answer your questions, and go home. That ain't going to work. You know why? That's boring. You're not going to get any eyeballs. And ultimately what he's doing is he's helping his team. He's bringing attention to the sport. So I have no issues with it as long as he's winning. I would have an issue if the guy wasn't winning and then doing all of this talking. But he's backing it up. He's backing it up. So give him a chance. Give him a chance. Let him go through one season. And then at the end, form your opinion about the guy. But from what I know about Jason Whitlock, once he stakes his claim and he sticks whatever it is, the flag in the ground, he doesn't seem like a person that's going to sway. So what I want to know from you guys is simply this: do you think Jason Whitlock is being a little bit too critical of Deion Sanders, or do you think, listen, give the guy some time and then come back and let's see how this guy, and reevaluate your position on this guy at the end of the season? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show.